As Provost of the University of Chicago, it is my privilege to introduce Abbie Smith, the Boris and Irene Stern Distinguished Service Professor of Accounting in the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, who will deliver today's convocation address. Professor Smith brings to her research and pedagogy deep knowledge and passion illuminated by experience. She has worked at Hewitt Associates and serves on the boards of directors for several prominent corporations. Her research focuses on corporate governance and transparency and financial reporting. Professor Smith's recent article, "Does Analyst Following Increase Upon Restrictions of Insider Trading?" was nominated for a Smith-Bredin Prize awarded by the American Finance Association. She serves as the editor of Chicago Booth's magazine, Capital Ideas, and has co-edited the Journal of Accounting Research for the last decade. Professor Smith has earned many honors, including the prestigious McKinsey Award for Excellence in Teaching. She is a dedicated member of the university community, helping develop policy through the Dean's Advisory Committee and the Women's Leadership Council. The title of her talk today is Corporate Governance, Is It Personal? Abbie.
Thank you, Tom. Rain or shine, that is the spirit of the University of Chicago. Good morning, everybody. It is such an honor to be here with you, the class of 2013. And your families and friends, faculty, staff, and trustees. I think it's 20,000 of us here to celebrate your graduation from the University of Chicago. Today is your day. You all worked so hard to get here. From your first nap in kindergarten until a few days ago. For some of you, literally yesterday, you did reading assignments, math problems, science projects, term papers, exams, and more exams. At the beginning of every quarter, the faculty laid out what they expected of you and how they would evaluate your performance. The course material changed every quarter, but the measure of success remained the same. And you aced it. You are graduating from one of the premier universities in the world. Give yourselves another hand. So now you're about to start your next chapter. You are loaded with potential and driven to succeed. What does that mean? How will you define and measure your success from now on? My theme today is corporate governance. Is it personal? In short, corporate governance research studies how corporations like Apple or Amazon set and pursue their goals and how this affects their performance. While I was preparing for today, I realized that there's a personal message in this research for all of us. The message isn't new. It has been repeated throughout history. And even in one of my favorite songs, "Make Someone Happy and You'll Be Happy Too." But the message is often forgotten. So I'll try to make the case today, speaking from a research perspective and from the heart. My colleagues told me it's best that I don't try to sing. So what does corporate governance research have to do with success, happiness, and you? Everything. regardless of what products a firm makes. iPhones, smart cars, or Miller Lite beer, not to be used at the same time, by the way. A firm is a network of people and their relationships. Relationships between employees and customers, employees and investors, and one employee and another. Traditionally, governance researchers have overlooked the human side, instead trying to explain firm behavior and performance on the basis of impersonal country, industry, and firm characteristics. But now researchers are beginning to look for answers inside firms at the values of the chief executive, and finding that firm behavior and performance vary in a powerful and intuitive way with the chief executive's values. Corporate governance is personal. To illustrate the impact of executives' values, I'll begin with a cautionary tale of two CEOs, two chief executive officers who ran the same company, one right after the other. While the story takes place in a business setting, the message is universal. Our two CEOs had a lot in common. They both made it to the top of the same corporation. And when they got the top job, they had similar resumes with graduate degrees and years of work experience in the same industry. Like all of you, they were bright and driven to succeed. They were confident, courageous, and eager to take on the new challenge. But their values differed. The first CEO, who we'll call lavish, had a more extravagant lifestyle and was focused on acquiring more and more material possessions and status in the community. The second CEO, who we'll call frugal, was less driven by material desires and more interested and motivated from within by long-term intangibles like personal growth, building long-term relationships, and helping others. So how did the firm differ under the leadership of Lavish and Frugal? Lavish and team had an extravagant managerial style with little restraint on corporate spending. Frugal and the same management team ran a tighter ship with stronger information and control systems and more disciplined spending. Lavish and team focused on acquiring other companies to grow the firm quickly. Frugal and team focused on building the firm from within, growing long-term profits by finding better ways to do things, and selective long-term investments. Under Lavish, customer satisfaction was spotty, and investors, often left in the dark, were disappointed repeatedly by poor earnings performance, questioning whether the firm could even continue. No CEO successor was groomed, and the employees felt unfulfilled. In contrast, Frugal's top priorities were building relationships with customers, employees, and investors, and creating a corporate culture to nurture those relationships. Managers and other employees were trained and developed and felt engaged, purposeful, and energized. Employee safety and diversity, customer satisfaction, investor relations, and the treatment of the environment all improved substantially, and corporate profits hit a record high. And Frugal's legacy continues today. The firm is trusted by employees, customers, and investors, providing a strong foundation for continued success under the leadership of Frugal Jr. No relation, but groomed over the years by Frugal Sr. Is this story realistic? And is it an isolated case? Based on a sample of hundreds of corporations, our research documents a powerful relation between several dimensions of CEOs' values and the behavior and performance of the firms they run. For example, firms run by CEOs with a prior legal record, speeding tickets, driving under the influence of alcohol, are far more likely to be charged for financial reporting fraud than firms run by CEOs with a clean prior record. This analysis was motivated in part by prior evidence that unpaid parking tickets in New York City by diplomats of the United Nations are highly related to the corruption index of their home country, suggesting that even minor legal violations can capture meaningful variation in behavioral norms. Turning to a second dimension of CEOs' values, we also find that firms run by CEOs with a relatively frugal lifestyle, about half our sample, act more like frugal consumers, with disciplined corporate spending, efficient use of goods and services, a long-term perspective, and concern for others. Specifically, we find that firms run by CEOs with a relatively frugal lifestyle are less likely to acquire other companies, more likely to build from within by improving efficiency and making long-term investments in innovation and succession planning. They're more focused on information and control systems and more transparent in their communications with investors. They are more focused on risk management, which is particularly interesting in the years leading up to the financial crisis, because the frugal CEOs in the banking industry were more focused on risk management and fared far better during the crisis. Such firms are also less likely to go bankrupt and more socially responsible in their treatment of employees, customers, investors, and the environment, and more likely to convert social responsibility into future firm profits. We also find that over time, as some CEOs' lifestyles become more and more extravagant, their firm's social responsibility scores deteriorate, affecting the lives of many, even those who don't know their names. These results are highly intuitive, maybe even obvious, if you stop and think about them. But we often overlook the obvious. For decades, governance researchers have overlooked the importance of executives' values. Do we think about our own values as often as we should? The personal message in this research is not to disparage a luxurious lifestyle or status or fame, the more the better, but rather to stay mindful of our values and their impact on others. Research suggests that personal growth, social connections, and helping others are the stuff that fulfill us, sometimes more than we predict. But it is so easy to lose perspective and redirect our energy away from these intangibles. So, I'd like to conclude with a personal governance exam. This is your last exam at the University of Chicago. Unlike your prior exams, this one is meant to be taken again and again. While an annual physical or a tune-up of your smart car can help keep your engines running, a regular examination of your values can keep you running in the right direction. The exam has just one basic question. It's where we started. How do you define and measure your success? Ask yourself this as you go through life and see if your answer changes. History, music, and research suggest that your answer will have a profound effect on whether you realize your full potential, on your happiness, and on the happiness of others. Congratulations on your achievements at the University of Chicago. I wish you much future success, bringing happiness to you, those fortunate enough to know you, and even those who don't know your name. Thank you.